Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one sportsbook app out there. I'm your host, Rudo, joined by AJ Hafley for a Tuesday episode for you. Should we start with Tom Wilson? He is the topic of the day.
Yeah. I mean, nothing going on in Avsland yet. They're practicing. They have an optional practice going on probably now-ish.
They probably take the ice in like a couple of minutes here. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we are slated for
2 p.m. Whatever 2 p.m. they feel call. Like telling us. Yeah.
Hunter Miska was the third goaltender added to the roster sometime this morning. Sometime after 6 a.m. Because that was when I went to bed and last checked the waiver wire or checked the AHL transactions.
Yep.
And there was nothing on there yet. So somebody woke up early this morning and got Hunter Miska in a car on the way to California. So good luck to him. Drive safe, bud.
There you go. That's what we know for the Avs. Of course, we'll update you. Follow AJ Hafley on Twitter. I'm sure he'll have all the details.
Devin Shealy had a final this morning. How'd it go?
Woo. Hopefully well.
I want to know how the final went before we start getting into the divisive stuff, because we're always here to pump the tires of our peeps and lift each other up. But
however you did on your final, you did better than the NHL's decision with Tom Wilson, man. That's my opinion.
There you go.
So couldn't be NHL level bad on that one.
Fuck yeah, man.
Which easy life.
Yeah.
Congrats on the
straight up.
Very easy. If you haven't watched the Tom Wilson incident from last night, go watch it. We're not going to play it on the show because we'll get
banned how you get copyrighted.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go look it up. Wilson, to sum it up,
it's kind of a two-part incident.
Yes, yeah. There are two parts to it. First of all, while play is going on, Wilson is battling for position in the crease with Pavel Buchnevich. And the way the play develops is they're fighting for position. Wilson kind of ends up tangled up with Buchnevich, gets his stick over his head and pushes him down by his neck to the ice, which is dicey. But and then he sucker punches him in the face while he's on the ice.
This is where my problems start.
Yup.
Because we've seen a lot of interactions in the NHL in and around the crease that start like this.
Yep.
But where he crosses lines is where my problems with it start.
Yeah. This is basically my entire problem with the play is Buchnevich, but the play continues on. Obviously, the Rangers watch Tom Wilson push Buchnevich to the ice and sucker punch him. So everybody starts getting into a tussle. Artemi Panarin comes in, tries to engage with Tom Wilson. They engage. Tom Wilson, being a significantly larger human being than Artemi Panarin, pretty much just throws him around like a doll. He throws him to the ice twice, I believe. Panarin, having his helmet come off, bangs his head against the ice. He gets right back up. In the immediate, it wasn't like seriously scary or anything, but now Panarin expected to miss the rest of the season, which is 4 games, but
yeah. It sounded a lot more dramatic when you tweet out Panarin is expected to miss the rest of the regular season, and you're just like, oh dang, that's serious. And then you're like, oh, the rest of the regular season for the Rangers is like a week.
Yep. So
we have no idea how serious that is.
Right. He could be totally fine, or
I don't personally, it doesn't matter. Like, what is it? And I think what scares people in general is the way that the NHL does punish injury.
Yep.
And because we say, okay, well, they're enabling Tom Wilson when they do this stuff. when they fine him $5,000 for what happened with Buchnevich and disregard him picking up and body slamming Artemi Panarin into the ice, and then he rolls into the penalty boxes and literally is flexing and playing to the crowd about it, and it's just like,
here's
the NHL has a supervillain now.
Look, here's the thing in my mind. I don't really have a problem with what happened with Panarin on this play. A player has a right to defend himself, and Panarin came in and they were mutually agreed essentially to tussle with each other.
Yeah.
Now, you can make an argument that there's a case of needing to protect your opponents to a certain extent in hockey, that there's a kind of unwritten rules about that, and that Tom Wilson was clearly the bigger, stronger guy there. But I don't really have a problem with the stronger guy winning a fight. It's unfortunate the way that Panarin got thrown to the ice and his head bounced against it, but those things happen in a scrum. To a certain extent, I can understand that, even if it is scary.
So, I don't know. When I first saw it, I saw the Panarin stuff first, and I was the camera angle that's kind of on the ice level where they're behind bodies.
Yeah,
it just doesn't look that bad. But the camera angle, the other camera angle that's further away, where you can see him like grab him by the hair and like, and that's when he like starts to body slam him and like flip him. I think when I saw that camera angle, it made me really uncomfortable, because that's like I think that I have a real problem with it, man. Because that's a total disregard for that person's safety whatsoever. Like, there's defending yourself, and then there's I'm trying to hurt this person. And I think that's where he went from. Like, their scrum up until that point is extremely normal, disregarding the Buchnevich stuff, which
we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, like I think we're on the same page with that one. But the Panarin stuff, I started out with you on the Panarin stuff because the one camera angle looked like they were behind in the body, in the whole scrum of everything. You couldn't really see anything, and all you could kind of see is like the body slam of Panarin. But then when there was the reverse camera angle and you see him like pull his hair and like pull it like pull the head back and then just pick him up, and it's just like he's trying to hurt the guy. And look, like, let's be real, like, we're all Colorado peeps here, so we all remember what happened with Steve Moore, and I think we're all probably a little annoyed that there have been comparisons to that.
Yeah,
because this isn't even
alike.
It's not even in the same stratosphere as that. But I don't. But Wilson has every right to defend himself. Panarin jumps him from behind because of the Buchnevich stuff. I completely agree that he has every right to defend himself. When do you go from being the guy defending yourself to the aggressor? Because when you're Tom Wilson, who's a big dude, and you're going up against a guy who's 170 pounds wet, it's not going to take very long for that to switch. And you can't blame Panarin for defending a teammate, because what he did against Buchnevich wasn't cool. But I think when they went from like tussling, like a very normal scrum behavior, to grabbing the head and pulling it back and picking him up and throwing him down, I just don't feel like that's. You can't make an argument that that's still defending yourself. Like, at that point, you're trying to hurt the dude.
If you're the stronger guy, how different is that? And I agree, the hair grabbing is gray. It's a gray area for sure. But what is the difference between lifting a guy up and throwing him compared to trying to punch him in the face. I don't think it's that different. With the Panarin,
there are rules that are in place like that allow them to exchange punches in the face, and then they go to the box and stuff. But like, that's an accepted part of the game. Where like, hey, if you guys are throwing punches at each other, then you know you guys have agreed to do this, to engage in this behavior. I don't think Artemi Panarin, when he sees Buchnevich getting smashed into the ice, and he just reacts and he goes and he's not thinking I'm Artemi Panarin and he's Tom Wilson.
No, I understand, and my point is I don't think there's certainly not a rule against taking your opponent down to the ice if you're already like in a fight. And now I will say, to Chad's point, there were a couple of situations, even with Panarin, where he takes Panarin down and then continues to try to punch that dude in the face.
Yeah, now he doesn't stop there. He doesn't stop at that point. And it's just like, what are you doing, dude? Like, are you trying to kill the guy? Like, what's going on here?
And
we don't understand. We're not Tom Wilson. We can never tell what his mindset is. But it's also like this is also a dude that gets no benefit of the doubt,
right? Yep.
Because we've seen him consistently have no regard whatsoever for the health of other players and trying to hurt them.
I want to talk more about that in the Buchnevich side of it, but it's the Panarin thing. I don't think it's that bad. I think the sucker punches while he's on the ice are just as bad, if not worse, than him getting tossed to the ice, even if it is, grabbing the hair head kind of thing. If the NHL wanted to fine him or give him a couple of games for the Panarin thing, fine, whatever. I wouldn't have any problem with that. But the fact that he only got fined $5,000 for taking Buchnevich,
for all of this,
putting his head to the ice and sucker punching him, a lot of this happening while play is going on. There's no excuse. There's no case at all for trying to protect yourself against Buchnevich. With a guy who has a ridiculous history of doing stupid things, particularly when it comes to hitting people in the head.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable. And I went to bed last night and I was like, they should give this dude 20 freaking games. And they gave him a $5,000 fine. As someone said in the chat earlier, you're telling me what Tom Wilson did in this hockey game is the same as Nathan McKinnon throwing a helmet at a dude? Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And the sucker punching a dude's head is literally the thing that the NHL continues to preach about what they don't want in the game. And yet they just let it happen without a suspension. And like, my point exactly is with, Panarin's going to miss the rest of the season. There's 4 games. They could have done the exact same thing with Tom Wilson, and people probably wouldn't have loved it. But the NHL gets to have their cake and eat it too, where they can suspend Tom Wilson for the rest of the regular season. It doesn't affect Washington in the playoffs at all. And they at least said, hey, you can't do that.
So just for the record, my chuckling was not about the discussion, but was about the viewer commenting on Rudo's dog toys on the floor.
Oh, aren't they pretty?
And being distracted by them while they're trying to watch the video.
My dog is the Tom Wilson of dog toys, okay? Like, he does to dog toys what Tom Wilson does to hockey players.
Rex has no regard for the toy safety.
Yeah, exactly. We have to buy new toys every month because there's nothing left of them. So,
do you guys at this point, do you just have like the subscribe and save option on Amazon where it just sends it to you once a month?
Not even. We have the monthly Bark Box thing.
That's
3
perfect.
toys, yeah, every month.
Perfect.
So,
3 toys, so that lasts Rex like a day?
Yeah, a toy lasts him like 45 minutes, really. Like, and then he just like plays with the carcass for the rest of the month. But
Rex for king of the game.
You confirmed. Anyway, yeah, I don't I'm extremely disappointed in the Department of Player Safety.
It really sends a really weird message because they're consistently going to bat and protecting this guy and not any of the guys that are being played that he's playing against.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like when Landy like separated Connor Garland's spirit from his body, it was a little bit different. If I recall, Connor Garland still had his helmet on.
Yeah.
And it's a little different, but there's certainly an argument to be made that they're similar. I think the thing that bothers me about the Panarin stuff is there was to me anyway, it looked like there was clearly an intent to injure.
Yeah.
I would agree that injuries, the way that they punish based on if a guy gets hurt or not is absurd.
Yeah,
because Keegan Colasar runs Bowen Byram and has a pretty questionable high hit on him. Keegan Colasar doesn't even get a call from the league, and Bowen Byram has been out for 2 months.
Yep.
Where's the justice in that?
And that's the other side of it is as Chad is talking about, eventually someone's going to take justice into their own hands, and that's not what you want either.
Well, how? Like, he's Tom Wilson. The league does not have guys like that anymore. There's Ryan Reeves could beat him up.
That's the fear is right.
Pull Dustin Byfuglien out of retirement to lay him out one time.
The fear isn't, the big dude's going to come lay him out. The fear is a big enough dude is going to sucker him. And that's exactly what you don't want. A lot of people hate Tom Wilson, and a lot of the shit he does on the ice is not okay, but you can't wish for that guy to get concussed either.
For me, I get tired of the fact that he's a good player. I don't care about any of that.
Yeah,
none of this factors in.
He could be the best player ever. It doesn't matter if he's out there intentionally injuring people.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's easier for the league to suspend guys. I think it's easier for the league to suspend guys like Ryan Reeves, the Chris Thorburns and Cody McLeods of the world over the years, the guys who were in the league because of that stuff.
They have minimal skill, sure.
Right. Well, and they're not a big part of their team, and suspending Tom Wilson really hurts the Caps, right? He's a big part of what they do.
Well,
but at the same time, is Artemi Panarin not a big part of what the Rangers do?
But to my earlier points, and I don't know that this is not necessarily justice or correct or truthful here, in that the NHL could have easily suspended that dude for the rest of the regular season, which is 4 games.
Yeah.
And the Washington Capitals roll into the playoffs. Maybe they're the 2 seed instead of the 1 seed, but they get him back for the playoffs, and nobody has to make a big stink about it. The dude who deserved to be suspended got suspended, even if it wasn't as long as someone like I think it should have been. And the Caps get to play him in the playoffs, and it's fine. The complete disregard for even considering a suspension here is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just don't. The NHL needs to be better than this. Tom Wilson
it's a tough spot to be in because
is it? I don't think it is.
I mean,
I think it's pretty cut and dry. That the minimum.
I think the Department of Player Safety has the worst job in the world.
I think
because
you're
only making people mad, no matter what you do.
Sure.
Somebody's going to be pissed at you, and they're going to think that you were screwed, and blah 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 blah.
There's no winning, but there is protecting humans.
Just in time.
Yes, indeed. As we have our man Blaze Hunter in the background.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, you know, just
we're kind of tripping our way through this awkward Tom Wilson conversation where we both think that suspension was worthy, but
yeah,
how long do you suspend him and blah 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 blah. I don't know. So
yeah.
Blaze, how do you feel about it? A fine, a $5,000 fine for all of that nonsense?
No, he needs to be suspended. I mean, it's the optics of the NHL right now, right? Like looking at this, Tom Wilson isn't a sweetheart on the ice. He's an interesting fella because he is skilled, but he also likes to get into scraps. He's been suspended, 5 times now. There's probably a few more incidents that could probably be reviewed. But I was listening to you guys before I jumped on, but I do agree that, you know, him being in the taken out of the playoffs is a big loss for Washington, which can really hurt him. So I did like that idea of suspend him for the rest of the season and then let him jump back in the playoffs with the $5,000 fine.
Is that really a punishment for him though? Because the Caps are already in. I mean, because to me that looks like we're just trying to save some face here.
Sure.
And it also, because they only have a couple games left, means they don't have to deal with the arbitration or any of that.
Yeah.
They don't have to deal with anything that they have to go through when they try and suspend a guy for a long time.
Right.
Because I think it's 5 or more games they have to get, and they have to get a third party to mediate.
And Wilson would undoubtedly appeal, and
they suspend him for 4 games for the rest of the season. Everybody kind of gets their pound of flesh, right?
Right.
But instead, they did nothing. They a $5,000 fine. That dude's not even going to notice.
And that's
right. That's 15 minutes of playing time for him or something like that.
Yeah.
Is suspending him for the rest of the regular season justice? Maybe not, but it's sure as hell better than this.
Would the first round of playoffs be something where it's you're hurting the organization, right?
For me, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
If they had said he's suspended for 11 games, because that covers the rest of the regular season, and that covers the entirety of a first round series. If it carries on over into a second round series, well, maybe he should not be acting such a fool.
I said 20. Playoff math where playoff games count for 2 or whatever. That's fine.
Who was the last person to get 20? Ralphie Torres? Was he?
Yeah, Ralphie Torres with that 41 game suspension.
Was that after Weidman ran into the ref? Because he got 20 games. And then I think he appealed it down to less, though. So
yeah. I mean, that's a big time suspension. Especially because almost all of those are playoff games.
Yeah.
For real, I would be fine. Yeah, but Wilson's was Wilson actually that appealed down to 14, I think. Something like that. They lowered his by quite a bit.
It was a significant lowering of his, yeah.
So I don't know. I've always been of the opinion that you should over punish these guys, because then you deter it. You give them a reason to think about it. You give them a reason to not go and see red when you're in a scrum, and
4 regular season games is far better deterrent than a $5,000 fine, even if it is a little bit of a face fronting thing.
Look, David's question. My question is, would everyone here have the same energy if it was Kadri instead of Wilson? No. I mean, Kadri probably Kadri closer than you would for a guy with absolutely no history.
Yeah.
We would all be like, look, Kadri deserves something, but it wouldn't be the same way that we feel about Wilson, because Wilson has a legit NHL rap sheet.
Well, again, what is the number one thing the NHL doesn't want? They don't want their players getting hit in the head. And Wilson has a suspension list of hitting dudes in the head.
Yeah.
We got to take our first break. We're sponsored by Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. Tom Wilson sure as hell makes me want to drink, so go down to the DNVR bar and get yourself one of our 8 different beers on tap, or find the Breck Brew Seltzer 15-can sampler pack of just absolutely delicious hard seltzers at a local liquor store near you. We're also brought to you by Solas Meds. They have amazing deals for you all over the place with 4 locations here in Colorado. Whether you're up in Fort Collins, you're here in Denver, they got you covered all over the place. They have a bunch of awesome deals coming up. For Cinco de Mayo, you can buy 3, get 1 free from their entire store. And, of course, an additional 20% off when you use code DNVR20 at checkout. Coming up in the future. All sorts of awesome stuff to come as well. So get on it. Buy 3, get 1 free. Get the 20% off with code DNVR20 and let them know we sent you at solacemeds.com. SOLACE meds.com. And, of course, be sure to sign up for a DNVR membership if you haven't yet. The annual is dope. You get a year of our awesome content. You get a free shirt. You get a free mask. You get 22-ounce beers down at the bar. A bunch of other awesome stuff as well. You can come hang out with us in the lounge. All that stuff. If you're not ready to fully take that dive yet, you can also sign up for the monthly plan, where I think the first month is still like 50 cents. So if you just want to give us a little test of our content, see if you like it, that's like $0. You can definitely afford that just to check us out, whether it be us, the Broncos, Nuggets. You get access to all of that, the Rockies, rugby, you name it. So check it out today. We're kind of cool people, I hope. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 rated sportsbook app out there. Rudo, AJ, and Blaze. Do we want to wrap up this Tom Hunter conversation?
Tom Wilson conversation?
Oh, geez. Tom Wilson. Sorry. No disrespect to Tom.
Did
Hunter.
you guys discuss anything about the player safety? Like who's running player safety? And
we haven't really talked about Peros.
No. Yeah.
Every time we talk about player safety, we kind of just gloss over that George Peros is the guy running it.
Yeah.
To me, it just doesn't really matter. George Peros, Brian Burke, any of the guys that have run it over the years, it's just like all you guys do is piss me off.
Yeah, it seems like a hard position to be in as well, right? Like, because you have a lot of different factors coming at you, wanting you to make different decisions. So
yeah, well, and like
that's true.
I mentioned like Department of Player Safety is a thankless job. I did not mean that from the perspective of like fans yelling at them. I mean people inside the league.
Yeah.
Right.
That these guys have to work with, and that these guys know, general managers and owners and presidents of teams and stuff. They're always going to be pissed off when you drop the hammer on your team, like like there are relationships at work. There are things that could be frayed here when if you do over punish a guy. It's nowhere near a good enough reason to not act like this, to not act like Tom Wilson is worthy of having the book fired at his face. But
100%, yeah.
The other thing I did want to wrap up this conversation with was the now infamous deleted tweet from the Washington Capitals.
There's a thing happening on social media. For a long time, it's been you do a dumb, you apologize for the dumb, and you move on.
Yep.
And then everybody grades your apology. And you can't win no matter what. And people figured that out. And the trend here has been to lean into the villainy. Okay, well, if I'm going to be the bad guy no matter what, even if I apologize for this, you guys are going to get out the red pen and you guys are going to grade my apology like I'm in school here. I'm not going to apologize for shit. I'm the bad guy no matter what, so I'm just going to lean into it as hard as possible. And I think that is where a lot of social media has been headed, because it has to be absolutely as toxic as possible. And I think that tweet is a result of things heading in that direction.
I think it's like it's a misfire for sure. Like, it's one thing to be edgy and be with your team, but like this thing, like going all in on Tom Wilson and standing behind somebody that has just the history that he has, it's a bad look.
Yeah, I don't.
And I think I'm sure there was people calling the social media guy
The
or girl,
reality,
like, get that off.
The reality of every one of these situations is context matters. And when it comes to Tom Wilson and punching people in the head and the safety of other NHL hockey players, starting your Tom Wilson tweet with the Washington Capitals chose violence.
Read the room, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
There's a very basic reading of the room. But I think, look, my opinion, that's exactly what happened. They read the room and they said, our fans are going to lean into this because every single time that Tom Wilson does some shenaniganery, what happens? Caps fans rally around that shit and just start posting pictures of Tom Wilson raising the cup and shit. Like, they go to bat for him at every single turn, all the time, without fail. No questions asked. There's no wrong in their eyes from him. It's that the league has it out for him, which is hilarious because it's the exact opposite. The league has done everything they could to enable him.
Yeah.
And he knows this.
Chet, look,
He didn't get to where he is in his career without being aware of how to work the system.
I totally understand having fun. I'm all about having fun on this podcast. But if I'm ever being that toxic, please tell me to stop. And look, I'm no hard feelings against whoever's working the social media there. I don't know any of the context behind this tweet, and I'm not going to pretend to know. I'll never know. But if I do something this stupid, just like tell me to stop doing stupid stuff. Because I don't want to be that guy. I'll put it that way.
Super missed the mark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super missed the mark.
All right.
That's a you know who should get suspended for a couple of games? That guy.
The Capitals Twitter account.
Yeah. Send the social media person home for the rest of the regular season. Let him think about what he's done, or her. I have no idea.
Yeah. I'm sure they're in a meeting today right now having a discussion about what happened last night.
Hey, Danny, should we move on to a more fun topic?
Yeah, pick one. We've got two.
Yeah, let's start with Matthews. Let's do Matthews first.
Can we also, before we get into this, can we save the screen full of comments that are about to pop up about how awful the North Division is?
Because they come in.
Like, stop, guys. Seriously, the West Division is atrocious. Okay? Let's not pretend like Los Angeles and Anaheim and San Jose is some murderer's row of quality teams.
You think
throw Arizona in there because of the way that the Avs just have a particular knack for embarrassing them. I just don't.
You think Austin Matthews isn't scoring at a ridiculous rate against goalies like Aiden Hill and Martin Jones?
Like, oh yeah, he got to play a bunch of games against the Senators. Well, they got to the Avs played a bunch of games against the freaking Ducks.
Yeah.
So
against Ryan Miller.
Yeah, like they played a bunch of games against Ryan Miller and Anthony Stolarz and Turbo. I don't give a shit.
Oh, AJ lagged out. He's back.
That was cool.
Your internet didn't give a shit.
My internet just completely reset itself. Yeah, anyway, turbo mode, I don't give a shit. John Gibson is the other guy. So, like, let's be real here. Colorado has not had a difficult path here. All right, the West Division is a joke. That doesn't mean that the North Division is also phenomenal.
Pretty comparable.
It's also not great. It's really, to be honest with you, the North Division is a sea of mediocrity, and the West Division is just crazy top heavy.
I think
the top half of that division is legitimately good. The bottom half of that division is so bad.
I do think there is an argument to the North Division being one of the weaker, if not the weakest division defensively, though.
I mean, I think it's almost impossible to know.
I don't know about that.
Well, because there's no context. The teams aren't playing each other.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Even if the North Division's defense is weak, Austin Matthews is absolutely still carving up defenses in any division in this league. 100%. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But
like he's having the kind of year that, you know, when Brett Hull scored like 86 once upon a time.
Yeah, what the hell?
Like he's having one of those like holy crap kind of years. And he's one of the elite goal scorers in the NHL today, but
he'd be on a 60 goal pace in an 82 game season.
Yeah, like I tweeted out last night, what's his face is on a pace for 48 goal season right now. Mikko Rantanen.
Yep.
Is on pace for a 48 goal season, and that dude is getting dusted for the Rocket Richard Trophy.
It is not close. It was close for a while. It's not close anymore.
How special of a year is this from Austin Matthews?
It's wild, and it could be even more insane given he missed a couple of games with some wrist issues.
Yeah.
And he just goes out there and scores like a madman. It's fun. I think I tweeted it out the other day. The last 60 goal season was in 2010, I think, or was it 2011? I forget. Either way, it's been a decade since we've really seen truly ridiculously high-end scoring come through the NHL.
Yeah,
goal scoring. And
I mean, this is a special. Oh, that's what happened to my internet.
Okay,
I see. Steam auto started my daily auto updates. I have them set for the afternoon because I'm usually asleep during this time.
When the Avs play every day, yeah.
And instead of in the middle of the night because I'm usually up and it annoys me. Anyway, this what we're seeing. I think the strongest argument that you could make for the North Division playing a significant role in this is that you have two special seasons going on in the same division at the same time. Like Matthews is having the goal scoring, but McDavid he has 91 points.
Monster. Yeah.
I mean, he needs 9 points in 6 games to get to 100.
Yep.
It's phenomenal. It's absolutely insane.
I do want to talk a little bit more about that in the third period. It was Steven Stamkos who scored 60 in 11-12 was the last time that 60 happened. So it's been actually, Joe, almost a decade since the last 60 goal scorer in the NHL. But we do have to take our second period break. So we are brought to you by Hassel Cattle Company, the damn good beef out here for your damn good beer. Jump on over to HasselCattleCompany.com. You can get amazing meats, whether it be their now world famous Wagyu, whether it be their burger, they have a million different types. I can't even remember the names of half of them, but they have jerky, steaks, burgers, strips, you name it. You can get all of it from Hassel. You get 10% off when you use that DNVR code with them, and you can get free shipping if you order $200. Eric came to the bar the other day talking about how he had to scooter around with his box of meat to deliver it to everybody. So
I watched him come in.
Do we know how much his scooter cost? Because I was curious if there was more money in the scooter or the box of meat. Because it was like $500 worth of meat. Yeah. Like it was no joke.
Yeah.
Good.
The scooter's a little bit more. but
call
not much.
call up Gabby and be like, "Hey, do you guys insure meat? Just in case I crash this thing."
Just so
Meat
we
delivered
can,
on a scooter.
because we have our company order of Hassel Cattle Company.
Being delivered on a scooter.
Our meat order being delivered via scooter, so we need to get it insured separately.
Yeah, exactly right.
This is how we stay in business with our partners. We find a way to roll them all together.
As Scott C has so accurately detected, if you want to ensure your meat is looking good, head on over to manscaped.com and use code DNVR to get 20% off and free shipping on their Perfect Package 3.0. Whether it be their lawnmower trimmer, their deodorant, their toner, all of their hair care products, they can take care of you both above and below the belt. Jump on over there. It works for everybody. Men, women, you name it. They got you. And last but not least, this podcast is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 rated sportsbook app out there. You can head on over there, sign up with a new account with code DNVR, and you will get amazing odds boosts every single day. But for new users right now, you can turn a $1 into $55 with the excuse me. With the big event coming up this weekend. Again, we have some fights going on. All you have to do is bet on either fighter in the main event to win. $1 becomes $55. Why not jump on it? Get into the other odds boosts as well. I know someone made money on Kadri scoring the other night. I know somebody made good money on that. So jump in, get yourself some money with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download their top-rated app now. Let them know we sent you with that DNVR code for a limited time only. All users get that $1 for $55 opportunity. Other terms, restrictions, conditions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. That's right. Their Manscaped products will not treat you like Tom Wilson treats hockey players. It's very true.
You guys ever read the reviews on the website?
I have not.
There's got to be some gems in there.
This guy's like, my balls love it. like treating his balls as like a separate entity that has their own feeling. Like, bro, you're the one that loves it.
Third period of the
just in time for my wife and our anniversary.
Third period of the DNVR Avalanche.
Tremendous content. This is our next free Skate Friday segment.
Oh god, just reading Manscaped reviews.
Just pulling the best of these reviews.
Amazing. Connor McDavid,
dude,
is he gonna do it?
He has to at this point. He's been too dominant.
You see that game last night? He had 4 points.
Yeah, he has 9. He has 9 points to go in 6 games.
Yeah,
like
totally in the reach.
At this point, it's like, dude, it would be an upset if he didn't make it. Because what? He has 2 more 3-point games, and then you're like, oh, now he's got 4 games to score 3 points. Yeah, right.
That's all. He's just got to have 2 more 3-point games.
Dude, he's having them every night now.
I know, but
like the guy, I don't know. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago that instead of being mad that he's going to win the Hart Trophy, this was one to be appreciated.
Witness greatness.
This is something special, and to be honest, Edmonton has been good enough that if they emerge from the North in the postseason, I don't want any part of that. Nope. Because when you talk about a postseason matchup against Colorado, the #1 place that you start is, okay, well, Nathan McKinnon. Well, if they've got Connor McDavid, then great. You're that #1 thing that you're most excited about is equalized. Now, Mike Smith has been great. You still probably feel a little better about Philip Grubauer. Not significantly so, to be honest. Cale Makar, an X factor. The Cale Makar, Devon Taves Sam Girard trio something that you feel a lot better about than like Tyson Berry and Darnell Nurse?
Yep.
But at the same time, you don't want. I don't want anything to do with that Oilers buzzsaw, dude.
The 1v1, right, of line one would be insane. Like, do you think McKinnon would just come out and elevate his game too? Because he knows he's going to have to bring it against McDavid, Draisaitl.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that would be, I mean, scary, but super fun to watch.
It could be the series we didn't get in '96 with Sakic and Forsberg going against Lemieux and Yager.
Yeah.
Because Florida ruined everything.
Yeah.
I decided to freak up.
Play one good series.
I mean, the thing with McDavid and the Avs too is there's a little bit of historical dominance there, where the Avs can be up 4-1 going into the third period against McDavid, and all Avs fans are like, "Oh boy, here we go! This game is so far from over."
I'm 100% scared of the Oilers if they get to round 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's potential realized.
Yep.
I may not pick them to come out of their first round series, whatever it ends up being. I don't know, but McDavid playing the way that he is, boy, I tell you, if McDavid's playing like this and they can't get out of a first round series with him on this level,
sell the team.
What do you even do at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because you're getting the season that you are out of Mike Smith. Like, you're not relying on that. That's not happening. That's probably not happening again, right?
I did want to contextualize McDavid's season a little bit. DNVR, then BSN, started in 2015, correct?
Yeah.
So in BSN's first year of existence, there you go. In BSN's first hockey season of existence, the Art Ross Trophy was won by Jamie Benn, who scored 89 points in 82 games.
Yeah, we all knew that was messed up too when it happened.
Connor McDavid has 91 points in 50 games.
He's special. Human highlight reel.
Well, and he's on his way to. This is his 5th year.
Yes,
he's had 4. So. This will be his 4th 100-point season, and the only reason that he doesn't have a 5th was because he only played, I think, 48 games in year 1.
Yep, he was on point per game pace that year
as an 18-year-old. So he's. I think people transitioning straight from Crosby.
Yep.
And then like Crosby for like the Crosby Ovi thing for such a long time. And then rolling right into McDavid. I've always felt like McDavid is a little underappreciated.
I agree, actually.
League-wide. Because I think when McDavid's done, that dude, we're talking about a top 3 skater of all time here that we're getting to watch.
Well, part of McDavid's underappreciation is unfortunately that he plays in Edmonton. Like
the team success has been nothing.
The Crosby came into the league and basically immediately turned Pittsburgh around. Now, guys like Malkin and Fleury also helped that quite a bit.
Yeah, and like Draisaitl's been a great running mate, but it's like just Draisaitl, and now they're a lot. They're certainly more well-rounded right now. Right. Yeah.
Is this year the start of them getting it together a little bit? But, maybe they shouldn't have blown 2 games in a row to the Ducks a couple of years back, and they'd be something. It
I have a lot of memories of that series. It like coincided with a really weird time in my social life. And so that's what I remember that series for, is each one of the games in that series is like a different disaster. Is either date night or like somebody had a problem and it was
boy.
Oh God. So that's what I remember that series for. Those games coinciding with fiascos in my personal life.
The emotional connection is real.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one particular series. I couldn't tell you what was going on in any other series.
Yeah,
but that one, it just happened to be It happened to be the one that was on in every bar that I was in.
Well,
for
sorry,
week and a
guys.
half.
McDavid's a sub 50% face-off guy. He can't win any awards now.
Well, I love that everybody's like, "Oh, he doesn't back check," and then if you actually like pull up, his impacts and stuff this year, and you look, and it's like, is he like? Are you talking about a Selke candidate? No. But it's kind of like
black hole defensively.
It's kind of like with McKinnon, where it's quietly just gotten better. People don't look at it.
That's from a few years ago when he first came into the league. He kind of like coasted around. He was like a Mako shark out there, right? Like he would just kind of coast there. Then you would see blood in the water, meaning the puck was somewhere, and he would just fly. And he wasn't really doing any like defensive positioning or back checking, things of that nature. But now it's like he's the full package. And he knew that was going to come with age.
Pretty normal adjustment for a guy who's head and shoulders better than everyone he's ever played against in his entire life. Like,
well, and then like even in junior, you know, like you look at the London or the Erie team that he was on. Oh my gosh, there was so much talent.
Yep.
Andre Burakovsky,
the third wheel of that line, yeah.
Like you look at, so I just pulled up his, heat map from on Hockey Viz. His defense is still plus 5%, so it's still bad.
But that's not like catastrophic.
That's all right.
Yeah. Last year was 13%. The last 2 years is basically 13%.
Okay.
So it's like, this is a huge jump for him. Again, you're not confusing him with a defensive stalwart here. It's just that he's no longer like a total black hole there.
Right. No, O'Reilly.
And then if you look at another reason why I'm like afraid of McDavid is just his career against Colorado. He has shredded the Avs.
Yep.
Whew. Anyway, I have enjoyed. It's the only time we'll ever get to just enjoy McDavid from afar because there's no like if they. It's funny because you're not afraid of any like particular playoff route because you just don't know what they are. You're not like, oh well, they're gonna play that team and then they get that team and then they, bam, they're okay.
You get to round 3 and it could be anybody that you're playing.
Yeah, like it could be, you just have no idea. Even when we get there, it's like, okay, well, if this team and then it's dependent on all 4 of the teams being there for you to figure out what the matchups are and what the route looks like. You can't just, because normally, in the Western Conference, you're like, okay, well, they're the top team in the Pacific, so they'll be on the other side of the bracket, and you'll see each other in the conference finals only.
Yep.
So this year, it's just like, no. I mean, Dylan Strome was an amazing junior player.
The year after McDavid left, he put up like 120 points or something with Erie. So
he was an amazing junior player. He had an unbelievable junior career. So I'm definitely not. It's like it was like McKinnon and Duran. Like those guys had insane numbers together, and then when they would get hurt, they had insane numbers apart.
Yep.
So the Cole Caulfield start in Montreal has been fun.
Not the overtime part of it, but the fact that he's come in and scored goals is maybe the most predictable thing ever.
I think we're going to have a really, really interesting 10 years looking at that draft, but specifically
see who comes out in 15, 16, 17.
17.
Yep.
Because all of those guys
got his first assist the other night. Yep.
Peyton Krebs. That I was hoping Vegas wouldn't figure that out for another year. I don't love that. I don't love that they seem to have figured that one out. But at the same time, the other teams aren't going to love when Alex Newhook drops into this lineup this week.
Tomorrow.
I don't know, man.
Tomorrow.
I'm hopeful. Go. To be honest, I'm hopeful. What are you waiting for? You wanted to get him a practice with the team. You wanted to get it like the systems that they're running in the AHL are pretty much the same. So
Right.
he's still trying to get up to speed with everything anyway. Just roll in there.
Yep.
Just drop him in there and let him do his thing. It's the Sharks. Like, you're 6-1 against them. If you lose tomorrow, you're really not caring that much.
Yeah. Great place to start.
All right. Well, I think it's about time for the Avs media availability. So we are going to wrap this one up. Thank you, everybody, for watching, listening, however you consume the podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Highly recommend you check it out on YouTube because, you know, we have faces. You can put a face to the voice if you haven't yet. Highly recommend you see what we look like and understand that Blaze is the hottest person on this podcast.
That's sad.
Yeah. Good times. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, whether it be just the DNVR Avalanche account, AJ, Nathan, _ Rudolph. You're just at Blaze Hunter. Look at that. He's smart. He wrote his in as his name. That's an easy one.
That was a tip from at D-Line.
There you go. There you go. We'll update you with any important Avs news as it comes out during the availability. So until next time, which I guess will be super late night tomorrow because that's what the Avs do these days, we'll see you then.